Thank you, John Roberts. The field all on pit road, getting ready to come out. Who will be the track record holder? Who will be able to go over 200 miles an hour and post that big qualifying mark? NASCAR Sprint Cup qualifying presented by Golden Corral about to get underway. 85 degrees the temperature. One thing that I'm sure the crew chiefs and drivers are liking, there are some clouds in the sky right now, which cloud cover at a racetrack normally means higher speeds, and unbelievable speeds is what we've seen already since Thursday when they were here for a practice session. Friday they were extremely fast, and now it's time to test just who is the fastest. As a driver, are you at all concerned about that?
Larry, this is one of those days when please tell me to pull them belts tight one more time.
Maybe a second time.
Maybe even when I'm coming to get the green, because I'm going to need it. But you know, the thing that kind of shocks me is 205 miles an hour, right at it yesterday, Greg Beffel. But all the drivers, I talked to every one of them, they said it doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like the cars are going that fast. And I just think that's a real testament to NASCAR and what they've been able to do with this car, safety, the tracks, all the things in the car. Everybody seems to be comfortable with these high speeds, and I know I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. Don't know that if I was out there I'd be comfortable though, Larry.
Is the word comfortable, Larry?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I've got to convince him that this thing has more grip than you could ever think about having, so just go out there, and there's no question. We're going to run over 200 miles an hour. The question, how many drivers will truly do it? I'm excited. We have not seen a pole qualifying run at 200-plus miles an hour in 25 years. Bill Elliott was the last one to do it in 1987. It only has been done 17 times by 3 different drivers, Bill Elliott, Cale Yarborough, and Benny Parsons, who did it in 82. So I'm telling you, watch this qualifying session. We're going to see something we hadn't seen in a long time. Some of you've never seen.
This is definitely a milestone day for NASCAR. I put it right up there with what Benny Parsons did, the first one to ever qualify over 200 miles an hour. Here's our Golden Corral track description. Again, a repaved surface, this 2-mile surface. The racing surface is about 50 feet wide. What they're going to run on is about 12 feet wide. First car out onto the racetrack, and that will be Tony Raines. The old track record from here at Michigan, 194.232, set by Ryan Newman back in 2005. That might get shattered by the field.
Rick, that's a warm-up lap. And it's going to warm up at 194.
Now, there was a lot of questions. Okay, we know David Ruderman drove the 51 car that Kurt Busch is back in this week. Why is he not in the 10 car? David Ruderman will be back in the 10 car in a couple of weeks when we get to Kentucky Motor Speedway.
We talked about comfort just moments ago. One of the things that was a little uncomfortable was Goodyear. They decided that they didn't think that the comfort level was the way they wanted it to be at the speeds they were seeing. And so one of the big topics has been that there will be a different left side tires that they will be able to practice on at 6 o'clock this evening, and that practice will be right here on Speed, so you'll want to tune in and watch to see how the teams will adjust to that new left side tire. We see Tony Raines posting the first mark, 188.216, and it looks like one and done for Tony. So the first car has made it out on the racetrack in this historic day. You don't want to turn the channel. We're going to see crazy speeds. Welcome back. Bobby Labonte coming off the racetrack. One and done for Labonte, 36.475. He is second quick in this qualifying session. 6 have been on the racetrack. The quickest has been Brad Keselowski, 36.277, and that is 0.7 of a second faster than what he ran in practice. Ralph, has he been wolfing us?
Well, let's see. We'll see if we can stick a mic in here and get a word from Brad real quick. They're pushing the car. Brad, what can you tell us about your run?
It was definitely an improvement on what we saw yesterday, but that's not going to be, at the top I don't think, for today. But an improvement, and I'm proud of our team for finding some speed. We just got to keep working.
Any surprises out on the racetrack, the way the car or the tires handle going into 1 or 3?
Yeah, I was surprised I didn't run any faster. I mean, I damn near ran it wide open in a cup car, and it was as fast as it goes, so I was a little confused by that.
Something to keep an eye on.
Well, that supports what they told me yesterday in the garage area, that they just couldn't find the speed they were looking for with that 2 car.
Yeah, all the driver can do is hold the accelerator all the way to the floor. You can't do it anymore. So if you can't find the speed, you've got to obviously trim the car down or make adjustments to get that thing a little quicker through the air.
Sometimes holding it wide open, I know it sounds contrary to what you might believe, but sometimes trying to hold it wide open will actually slow the car down.
Because
you'll hear most of these guys, they'll burp the throttle a little bit, corner entry early on, let the car take a set and then be wide open up off the corner. That seems to be the hot tip.
Landon Castle, third quick, one and done for him as well. 36.532 for Landon Castle.
And Rick, every car is different. I mean, you know, if you don't have the straightaway speed, obviously you could run the car into the corner maybe a little further, maybe even wide open. But if you got high speed down the straightaway, which most of these guys do, you got to let off a little bit to get it turned.
Yeah. Castle bringing the Burger King 83 back into the pits. Big story last week. Kurt Busch wasn't behind the wheel of the 51. NASCAR sat him out of last weekend's events, and now back behind the wheel. Added pressure for Kurt Busch.
You know, after David Rudiman did a wonderful job in that car last week. What did he finish like? 21st.
Ended up finishing 21st and never really overcame that pit road speeding penalty. But yeah, James Finch and Kurt Busch, they met on Tuesday. They elected to move forward. It's a race-to-race deal. But I think one of the biggest things that James Finch is looking for is race cars that are not tore up at the end of the day. I think he's trying to convince Kurt, if it's a 15th place race car, let's make sure we capitalize on that. Let's don't try to run 5th and end up 35th in the garage area tore up.
And working all week long to fix that car once again. Kurt Busch goes 2 laps. His first lap 36.320. Actually, he's going to be one and done as well.
Yeah,
so that was
he
first
actually
lap.
he actually ran a 35.81 in the second practice yesterday.
So about 0.5 of a second slower than what he was able to run. And Kurt Busch currently second quick on the charts. The guys that are racing to get in have to beat 2 drivers. The go-or-go homers. Kevin Harvick now on the racetrack. Harvick was able to turn a lap at 202.954 miles an hour.
Man, he's got a problem.
Yeah,
he's slowing down. And,
he got out of the groove, it looked like, in turn 4 and decided that wasn't going to work.
Well, Larry, I think one of the things these guys are struggling with, Larry, are the tires that they're going out on. Yikes, what's that nose? There was a debate. There was a debate about stickers and scuffs, and I'm just wondering if some of these guys maybe think they may have made the wrong decision here.
Now, what Kevin Harvick is doing is perfectly legal. He has not taken the green flag. What he's going to do, he's probably going to go all the way back. If he's smart, he's going to go all the way back around at least to the exit of pit road, because you need to build your speed, and you need to build it fast, especially through 3 and 4 come to take the green.
One thing he's doing that I would not have done, he's on the apron. Man, he should have gotten back up on the racetrack. He's going to pick up a lot of dirt and debris on those tires. I think he should have. You can hear he's coasting. He don't want to get the engine hot, but I would get up in the race on the racetrack.
So you see the Budweiser logo on the side of the 29 and the stars, one of our all-stars in the Sprint Cup Series. Well, how about the all-stars of the Major League Baseball? This July, don't miss the biggest event of the summer. Baseball greatest stars go battle for home field advantage in the Fall Classic. The road to the World Series begins with the 2012 MLB All-Star Game. That's Tuesday, July 10th, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Fox.
Unless the engine was getting hot, I don't like what he did right there. He's not going to be up to speed. Looks like to me, yeah, he's not going to be up to speed when he takes the green flag.
Yeah, he should have come all the way. He gave up about a quarter of a mile there that he could have come on around and gotten up his speed. Apparently, he thinks he's going to run both these laps, and this first one he's just going to throw away.
But you got to believe that engine already is pretty warm.
So coming to take the green now, Kevin Harvick crosses the stripe. He's officially on the clock. The needle didn't dip too far when he crossed the stripe.
210 into turn 1. That's not too bad.
And right now he's tracking pole. So down the backstretch he goes. Harvick, again, a little bit longer of a qualifying run here, but he didn't take that first green on his coming up to speed lap. So we'll see how it works out for him.
Car looks okay this lap.
It's going to be a great lap.
Top of the charts, 35.637, 202.037 miles an hour.
Larry, I like everything he did. You know, coming around on the apron and not coming all the way around. And
not going all the way back.
That was really smart.
Getting the engine hot.
Oh, yeah, the engine got hot. I like all that.
It's unbelievable how quickly your tune changes up
That's
here.
perfect, man.
Let's go trackside to Marty.
And I've caught up with the most recent race winner, Joey Logano. You can get in the car. That's okay. Do your job, man. I'm just here hanging out. You still riding the high from Pocono last week?
Yeah, of course I am. And I think I got another good one today. I think I got a car that's capable of qualifying up towards the front. And we'll see. You know, and then we got another practice tonight now, so that's going to change everything a little bit. But I got a Home Depot car that's good, and I got a Dollar General car that's capable of winning, you know, here in a little bit in the nationwide side. So trying to ride the momentum, ride the wave as long as we can, and keep winning these races.
On Tuesday, you learned how to drift. So just a hint, drifting here, not good, okay?
Not good. I learned how to control it better, but it's not faster, that's for sure.
If you want, you can take Larry Mack and DW for a drift ride. I'm sure they would love it.
I like to take old Larry for a ride. That'd be a good time.
Come on, Larry Mack. He's inviting you into that drift car. I think it'd be a lot of fun, my man.
I think I'll just stay right where I'm at.
Yeah, I've had about all the fun rides I want for 1 year.
Australia.
And then the prelude with Tony
Eldora.
Stewart. But I'm getting some thrills, I can tell you that.
You like to have the steering wheel in your hand, right?
Never thought I'd do some of the silly things I've done.
Now, it looks like Joe Nemechek is going to be right on top. In fact, he beats David Stremme and Stacy Compton. Joe Nemechek will race tomorrow in this 400-mile race.
Locks himself into the show. Nemechek on his first qualifying lap goes 36.591, ninth quick.
There, a real neat story quickly about John Hunter Nemechek, Joe's 15-year-old son. In fact, he turned 15 on Monday. He went to Milwaukee for that ASA Midwest Tour Super Late Model, sat on the pole, beat Chase Elliott, David Stremme, Rusty Wallace, Matt Kenseth. But he did that on Tuesday, started driver's ed on Thursday.
I'd love to be his driver.
There's no such thing as too young anymore.
His driver's education instructor would be like, what are you doing?
Yeah, what about
what are you doing?
What about Burton's son? I mean, what is he?
Yeah.
He's only 11
or 12.
And he's practicing a late model.
Yeah, Harrison.
The one that Jeff ran up there at Richmond.
Jimmie Johnson now brings his Lowe's Chevrolet out onto the racetrack for his qualifying run. On top of the charts, 2 Chevrolets up to this point. Kevin Harvick, Regan Smith. They are currently 1 and 2, both over 200 miles an hour.
Now, this is one of 5 tracks that Jimmy has not won at, but I think that's so deceiving. If you just look at 2009 alone, the June race, he led 146 laps, ran out of fuel on the white flag lap, finished 22nd. In August, he led 133 laps, leading out of fuel with 2 laps to go, and finished 33rd.
Jimmie Johnson, Chad Knaus.
Chad Knaus is on line 1, Larry.
He will call me out about that.
I was going to say, your phone's probably vibrating,
it's vibrating
right now.
I don't know what it means, but it's vibrating.
Johnson across the stripe, 35.789. He also goes over 200. 201.179 for Jimmie Johnson, but it's second quick to Kevin Harvick.
Tom Carnegie, he'd be worn out after this qualifying session with a new track record because we obviously are shattering that baby at 194.
Yeah, of the drivers that have been out there, the top 10 have all bettered the old track record. And now making his way out onto the track, A.J. Allmendinger. Allmendinger was able to go 200.574 in the practice session yesterday. See if he can better that mark. We just saw Jimmie Johnson run very, very similar to what he had run in practice. So backing up his practice speed, if that continues to be the norm, then we would see Greg Biffle go 2-0 fast.
2-0 really fast.
I keep seeing more and more drivers really working these tires down the back straightaway, trying to get heat in them. That may have been the one thing that Kevin Harvick accomplished the most, was having some heat in those tires.
Sure appeared that way, Larry, because he did a nice job. That's a great recovery.
A.J. Allmendinger got the pole at Kansas earlier this year.
Best start here at Michigan, 6th. That was back in 2009.
See, they are screaming, these engines.
It's going to be a pretty good lap for AJ. He's going to be in the top 5 for now.
Crosses fourth quick, 36.010 for AJ Allmendinger. Coming up, Marcus Ambrose, Joey Logano, and Jamie McMurray will be on the clock.
There's a guy that was bad fast yesterday.
You were talking earlier about where does Kevin Harvick's lap rank as far as what's taking place this weekend. He is the fifth quickest lap turned of anyone over the last 3 days. How about the Fords?
Ambrose
yes.
just kind of locked over there.
2:10 into turn 3.
Tracking number 1 for Marcus Ambrose. Can he hold on to it? Coming out of 4, goes all the way down to the apron, across the stripe. Ambrose goes 2:03.241.
Yeah, that's what he went yesterday. That's a fast Ford right there.
They've got that car down in the back, but it looked like it was stuck to the racetrack as well.
It better be. 2:03.2, you better be stuck on the racetrack.
And now let's go down trackside for our Armor All Pit Report for Ralph Shaheen.
You know, Rick, all these tires you see down here in the Goodyear area, these are all the right side tires we've been using all weekend. All the Goodyear guys have really been working hard getting these ready for that 6 o'clock practice coming up a little later on this afternoon. Right now, all these Goodyear guys in the blue shirts taking a bit of a break because the 1200 tires that are the new/old left side tires that we're going to use tonight, well, they have been shipped here from Charlotte in some transporters. Now, those transporters got here a little while ago, but they're stuck on the outside of the racetrack because qualifying got underway before they could cross the track. So they're being loaded into pickup trucks. Those tires are being shuttled into the racetrack here, and pretty soon these guys here are going to be real busy mounting those new/old left side tires that these guys have not raced since 2007.
DW, you said it perfectly right before the broadcast. You said this is the calm before the storm. That's exactly what it is down there.
And the reason they're not panicking is they're only going to give each team 2 sets of left side tires. So they got to mount 2 sets of left side tires.
For practice.
For practice,
yeah, for today.
They'll get 10 for the race.
And then they got all night to mount the rest of them.
Joey Logano on the racetrack goes third quick in his qualifying run, 35.777. That's 2:01.247. By the way, Marcus Ambrose is 2:03.241, the second fastest lap turned all weekend.
That win by Joey Logano at Pocono, yeah, it was his first top 5 finish of 2012. It was actually his first top 5 finish since Watkins Glen last August, where he finished 5th.
I look at the change with Joey Logano as a chemistry situation between he and his crew chief now. And I talked to you about this the last week. There is a chemistry between guys that just click. And I brought up you, obviously DW and Jeff Hammond. You guys won 43 races together. Chad Knaus and Jimmy Johnson have won ridiculous numbers together. Dale Inman and Richard Petty over 100+ races together. There's a chemistry, and it looks as though Joey now has found that chemistry.
What you want is a guy that brings more out of you than you think you got.
Sure.
And I think that's where Joey Logano was. I think there was a whole lot more in Joey Logano than what we were seeing. And now that he has the right crew chief, right chemistry, get that confidence, I think he's showing what he can do.
Yeah, I think it's chemistry, but I think at 22 years old, and I hang around with Joey and his family a lot, is someone believing in him. And I think he felt like he had lost that with Greg Zeppedelli last year.
And so many times as we're watching Denny Hamlin post his mark, crossing the stripe, Hamlin goes 5th quick at 35.842. But in Joey Logano's case, his reputation preceded him. I mean, everyone talked about how great Joey Logano was going to be, and then he was thrown right into that 20 car, probably before he was ready to be in a Sprint Cup car. Let's go back trackside to Marty Snyder.
Well, Carl Edwards getting ready to go out and qualify. What do you make of this tire change?
I'm not thinking about the tire change, right?
You're thinking about qualifying.
Yeah, I specifically was just watching somebody go by thinking about the tires. I was like, stop thinking about that. That's later. So right now, you know, I need to be focusing on this car right here and how it ran yesterday. And that's the key right now, is to be able to back up that lap yesterday. The sun's coming out. Looks like guys are struggling to run the same speed that they ran yesterday, and I'm hoping our fast and all forward is good. It was very comfortable in qualifying trim yesterday, so hopefully it's good now.
And I would say more than anything else, guys, people looking up to see when they might get a cloud, the lucky cloud, to get one on your qualifying lap.
Thanks, Marty. Again, we've talked about the tire issue. These are the same tires they have practiced on, they tested on Thursday, they're qualifying on. But tonight, 6 o'clock, right here on Speed, you'll see those new left side tires being tried out for the first time here on this racetrack. Goodyear about to mount those tires up, get them on the race car so that they will have a practice session tonight, just over an hour long. Starting at 6 o'clock, it'll be right here on Speed.
Yeah, this left side tire, it was raced at Charlotte after the repave in 2005, the one we're going to be going to, and then they actually, it worked so well, they ran it there the next 2 years.
Right.
Yeah, you can take a little break from the 24 hours of Le Mans.
That's
and
right.
Come and watch us have a little practice session here.
That's right.
The 75 minutes of Michigan.
That's right.
Additional coverage from right here at Michigan International Speedway. Jamie McMurray coming to the stripe for his qualifying run. He's 7th quick, 35.980 for the McDonald Chevrolet.
We had 6 hours of testing on Thursday and about 3 hours of practice yesterday. The only incident was Jamie McMurray scraped the wall yesterday, and there was a lot of work going on this car this morning.
Good pickup from practice, though.
Big pickup. McMurray was 197 in practice. He goes 200.111 in this qualifying run. Marty? Oh, I'm sorry, Ralph.
That's all right. We're right down here with Marcos Ambrose signing autographs for the fans. And that might have been more challenging than that qualifying lap. How was that lap?
I don't think so. That was one of the wildest laps I've ever done. You know, it was a strong lap. My Stanley team have done a great job over at Rich Petty Motorsports, giving me a good car here with these massively high speeds. But it's nerve-wracking, and I left a little bit out there. I just got greedy into turn 3 and washed up the hill a little bit. Had to ride some brakes. So we'll see if it holds. It doesn't matter, though. It's been a good couple of days for us here, and we're looking forward to the race.
You know, we talk a lot about, you got to hold my breath and all that sort of thing. Is that really what you were doing? Tell me what the sensation was like.
I was just trying to breathe, to be honest with you, stay calm. You know that very small wheel movements makes a big difference at these speeds, and so I was just trying to be calm behind the wheel and not overreact.
All right, get your Sharpie ready. You're back at it with the fans.
Turns it around. And again, we've seen this done before.
Did they ever build fuel pressure? I don't know. I never looked at the fuel pressure gauge. It's got fuel pressure. I'll see what I got here.
I'm not sure about that. I think what he's really doing is he either had on stickers and he wanted to knock the new off of them, and it didn't feel good coming to get the green, or he wanted to get some heat in his tires.
Right.
He saw what Kevin Harvick did, paid off for Kevin. I'm not saying that there's maybe was a problem with the car, but I think this also will work to his advantage.
Well, this will be the second driver out of 28 that has done this. I remember a number of years ago at Sonoma, there was something like this going on, and NASCAR finally said, enough boys, no more.
Yeah.
So we're seeing Carl Edwards go the wrong way around this newly repaved racetrack, but it's because he didn't take the green flag for his qualifying effort, so he can go all the way back around.
Because it didn't start doing it until about right into turn 3, so I want to see if it's going to do it again.
And I definitely would go back as far as possible just to build that speed. As we spoke when Kevin Harvick was doing this, the only downside is making sure you don't get that engine too hot.
Well, he's coasting now, Larry, and he has been for quite a ways, so it should be okay there.
He can go all the way back to the start-finish line.
Oh, yeah, he can come all the way back to the, to the turn 1 side of the start-finish line. He'll use pit road down there probably to make his turn ahead back out.
So we're seeing, again, one of the all-stars of NASCAR try a little extra warm-up for his car before he qualifies.
Well, listen to he and Bob talk. I mean, they talk about fuel pressure. Maybe there's an issue with the engine.
And we'll see.
Why are you looking at me?
We'll see. We'll see if he goes 202 like Kevin Harvick did.
Actually, maybe.
Harvick backed up his qualifying run with what he was able to run in practice. We'll see.
It's got fuel pressure. It's running like crap, though.
Well,
I never had a doubt it would have good fuel pressure.
Better run the lap or not. See if it clears out, bud.
202.943 is what he ran in practice.
No,
it doesn't sound right.
There is something wrong with his car. That engine is definitely not running right.
Let's take a look at this right here, because if you remember when Kevin Harvick took the green flag, he was right at 200 miles an hour.
Rather we should run it, you guys. I mean, I guess whatever you think, it's terrible. Yeah, it's not running good, bud. Just abort here in case we've damaged something. Abort.
Well, contrary to I believe, there is a issue with the 99 car of Carl Edwards.
Yeah, he thought
6 at least.
we heard him say initially they thought maybe fuel pressure, but Carl said he had fuel pressure.
Yeah.
So issues with the Fastenal 99 doesn't enable Carl Edwards to take at least even one lap in his qualifying run. Martin Truex Jr. coming up. And welcome back. NASCAR Sprint Cup qualifying presented by Golden Corral here on Speed continues. Bob Osborne making the long walk back into the garage. I'm sure they're going to talk about what just took place with the 99 car. And now on the racetrack for his qualifying run, David Gilliland in the 38 is 20th quick on his first and only lap, 36.580 for David Gilliland. And let's hear from Carl Edwards. He's with Ralph.
He's made it back here to the garage. They got the hood up on the 99. They are just not going to make it easy on you this year, are they? Tell me what, I know they have to get in there and dig around and figure out what really went wrong, but what did you feel from the cockpit?
All right, first, a disclaimer about this whole thing, Daryl. This has nothing to do with last season, all right? This has nothing to do with finishing second in points. Man, this is it's frustrating. I think it's a fuel issue. I think it almost feels like, you know, there's a air leak or something in the pickup for the fuel, because it's running, but it acts like it's running out of fuel. I wanted to run this lap so badly. Our Fastenal Ford is really, really good. And I told my wife before the start, I said, I'm getting this pole. I want to be the fastest guy in NASCAR for the last 25 years. That would be very special. So very frustrated we didn't get to run it, but it's better to find it now than in the race. You know, we need to have a good, solid run here. We know this car can compete for the win, and now we'll just have to make sure, you know, the people ask if we can pass on this track or not. I'm feeling like we're going to be able to pass. We're going to be able to pass. It's going to be good, and we're going to have to make it happen.
All right, good luck with the guys.
And David Reagan on his qualifying run goes 23rd quick at 36.609. David's best start ever at Michigan was a year ago, where he started 7th in this race. Not going to happen tomorrow, though.
And what Carl's talking about, he and I've had, we've had this conversation yesterday, as a matter of fact. You know, it's like he told me, he said, look, I can't help it. We blow a tire. I can't help it. People wreck in front of me. And now he won't be able to help that something happened to this thing on a qualifying run. He kept telling me, doesn't have anything to do with what happened last year. I said, okay, I'm with you.
Look at this, guys. The tires are here. They're being brought in a truckload at a time. And again, we will show you what the effect of those tires will be like tonight at 6 o'clock right here on Speed, breaking into Le Mans competition. And now we have who was the fastest on the racetrack in the past 3 days on the track.
If there's one driver that's really glad there's a practice this afternoon, it would be Carl Edwards and Bob Osborne, because they can definitely dig into maybe what was going on with their race car.
Now, this car ran 204 miles an hour yesterday, and right now, unless he does something miraculous through 3 and 4 here,
he went 204.708 in practice. How close will he be to that number across the stripe for Biffle? 35.676. That is 201.816 miles per hour. And that is one and done for Greg Biffle. Now let's go back to Marty.
Well, you see Pops Boyer across the top of Clint Boyer's car, honoring his dad, Chris, and all the MWR teams honoring their dads this weekend. And I know you're probably a little excited for this qualifying lap, aren't you? Because practice yesterday was an adventure, I would say.
Yeah, we struggled in practice, but we figured some things out that I think we had wrong. Qualifying trim, we weren't bad, but we certainly didn't run that 35.17 at Biffle ran yesterday. But I just saw he didn't either, so I think I'll be a lot more comfortable with like a 35.60 than a teen. That's pretty fast. We're going to see what the 5-hour energy Toyota's got and hope for the best.
And it's a lot better when those guys don't post those big numbers where you feel like you have to go run a fast number, isn't it, guys?
Well, Marcus Ambrose has posted a pretty formidable number up there at 202 miles an hour, or 203.
And really and truly, that's as close as anybody's come to what they run yesterday.
Yeah.
Harvick's right there. Those two cars closer than what they ran to anybody else of what they ran yesterday.
Ryan Newman on the racetrack now. Ryan the Rocket Newman. He ran 199.358 in his practice session. We'll see if he can back that number up, maybe even improve on it. Looks as though he's flirting with 201 right now.
Yeah, he came in there, our track record holder. Looks like 26 drivers has broke that old track record.
That's all right.
Fourth quick for Ryan Newman at 201.472 miles an hour, 35.737 for Newman. Very impressive laps already. We have 10 over 200 miles an hour in this qualifying session.
This guy right here might surprise you. Had some good practice laps. I just feel like that, but the repave, Pocono, now Michigan, these tracks are a lot like Indy. They got a lot of that same characteristics. And this guy, as you well know, won Indy last year.
Top of the charts, we have a Ford, a Chevrolet, a Ford, a Chevrolet, a Toyota. That's your top 5 right now. And now let's see if this Chevrolet can break into that top 5 party.
Well, you know, last week, I believe we were talking about, well, the track has slowed down. And then I think Mark Martin or somebody went out and set it on the pole and like faster than everybody. So, but right now it just appears that some of these, at this point, the track has slowed a little bit.
It looks like Paul Menard's not going to be able to break into the top 10 on his qualifying run. He goes 12th quick, 35.976. That's 200.133. So the Menards Chevrolet outside the top 10 in 12th. Next up, see if he can go after Marcus Ambrose's mark of 203.241 will be Casey Kane. How big of a deal is it to say I've qualified over 200 miles an hour?
Well, I think it's a big deal. As you know, in the scheme of things, it may not be a big deal today, although I think most of these guys would agree it is. But down the road, I think when we look back, we may never run that fast here again. With the repave, the tires they have, we may never have a chance to do what they're doing today.
In the record books, whoever wins the pole, it will only be the 4th person ever to have a pole at over 200 miles an hour. That's because Bill Elliott was very stingy.
And these guys down there, they know that, and they want their name in the record book. And it's one of those records that may never be broken.
Casey Kane in this 5, he's on a pretty good run here. You can see he's well inside the top 5, headed off into turn 3, lost a little ground there, but now it's starting to go back to the left for Casey.
Fast.
3rd quick on the ticker right now. Can he improve that? Goes down to the apron. Casey Kane, 4th quick in his qualifying run. 201.720 miles per hour, 35.693 seconds.
His qualifying efforts this year is unbelievable. Yeah, 2 poles, but 12 top 10 starts out of 14 races, working on 13 with that run right there.
He goes a mile an hour faster than what he was able to practice at, so he's able to improve. Can the final 6 do the same thing? Let's go back trackside to Marty.
Rick, I have never in my life heard a car described as super duper comfy until yesterday. You must be happy with this race car.
We were. Yeah, well, they're going to change the left side tire this afternoon, so we don't know what nobody knows what's going to happen. But, yeah, things have been going good for us this weekend. You know, we're just kind of all sitting on all hands on deck till this afternoon and get that practice in.
Are you anxious or just thinking a lot about that practice or just worried about qualifying right now?
Well, we'll go out and qualify best we can, but everybody's concerned about, you know, what's going to happen the rest of the weekend.
All right, a super duper comfy car. Junior hoping it stays that way.
Thanks, Marty. Jeff Gordon now on the clock. We saw what Casey Kane was able to do with his Hendrick Chevrolet. Now, what can Jeff Gordon do with the DuPont Chevrolet?
I get a feeling, Darrell, that car was nervous getting in the corner. You could see that tracker go dead right as he turned it off in there.
As I say, if that tracker's anywhere near right, he's not going to be very happy about this. Yeah, you can see the car wiggling right there, you know, early before he gets to the middle of the corner.
Right up against the wall as he comes out of turn number 4. Goes right down to the white stripe. And Jeff Gordon, 22nd quick. Definitely won't be happy with that performance. 197.922 miles per hour, 36.378 seconds. So 6 cars still to go in qualifying. Can the 2011 champion sit on the pole? We're going to find out. Juan Pablo Montoya, another one of the one and done as far as laps go. He is 16th quick on his first lap, 36.070. And Juan Pablo Montoya goes just under 200 miles an hour, 199.612.
Daryl and I were talking during the commercial break. Goodyear brought 5 drivers and their teams up here in early April to do a tire test. You have to do it a couple of months out. One of them was Matt Kenseth, but of the other 4, Montoya is the fastest, and you just talked about him, 16th quickest. The other drivers, Brad Keselowski, who's 20th, Kyle Busch, who's way back in 29th, and then Jeff Gordon, who's 23rd.
Kenseth now on the clock for his qualifying run. Can he outdo fellow Ford driver Marcus Ambrose, who has set the mark 203.241 miles per hour by Marcus Ambrose? If he continues to hold on to that spot, that would be the 11th fastest pole ever in the history of NASCAR.
But Larry, what a difference a day has made. And I think this track now is doing what these guys in Goodyear and everybody thought it was going to do. It's losing some speed.
Well, and I think a big key, and Rick, you did the race, is that 100-lap ARCA race from last night.
Yeah, everybody's scratching their heads as to how the track was going to change. Kenseth 6th quick in his number 17, 35.739 to a 1.461. Let's check out another American Ethanol Fast Fact. I told you guys I'd continue to throw some information at you. Teammates swept the front row at Michigan 5 times, most recently last August when Roush Fenway Racing teammates Greg Biffle and Matt Kenseth qualified 1-2. It won't go that way for them today. Kenseth currently 6th, Biffle is 3rd, but we've got Ambrose up on top with Harvick currently 2nd quick.
Tony Stewart, who was really, really fast in both practices yesterday. See what he can do here.
Tony Stewart, 200.736 was his fastest lap over the weekend. Let's see if he can back that up. We've seen some drivers improve, and he is moving to the left. Look at this, flirting with the pole.
Didn't get off the corner good from center off of turn 2, and the tracker went back right a little bit.
He drove it down in the corner harder than I think anybody I've seen so far. Helped him getting in, hurt him getting off.
Going through 3 and 4, tracking top 10 now.
You can see he never is completely out of the throttle, not even in the middle of the corner, getting down into the corner.
Across the stripe for Tony Stewart, 7th quick, 35.755. Stewart goes 201.370. So he improves speed-wise, but still not even in the top 5 of the guys who have gone. 42 cars have taken time. We have just 3 remaining. Trevor Bayne, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Mark Martin.
Well, we'll see how this works out. But, you know, yesterday we were talking about we didn't think it'd make a lot of difference with qualifying starting at 1 o'clock when you went out. But apparently it's making a little bit of difference because some of those big speeds were put up early on.
Marcus Ambrose, he was the 20th fastest. Excuse me, 20th slowest of the 45 that were here. So he went out really mid-pack when he posted that 203 mark.
I wouldn't be surprised. I'm a little hesitant to say it, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Trevor Bayne maybe run 2 laps because I think first you're going to see what he's going to run on his first lap. But he's one of the guys, he's one of the drivers. He has to qualify on time. He has to get that first lap in good and solid.
Well, this young man really and truly, he's been in this situation just about ever since he's been in Cup. And I've never known him to be bashful about stepping on the gas.
Again, running a little bit lower line through the turns. We saw it through 1 and 2. It hurt his overall speed. Now through 3 and 4, a little bit lower line, but still doesn't look like he's going to be able to break into that top 5. He goes 7th quick now, 35.742.
That's good. P7, all good there.
That locks him in, and that locks David Stremme out. So Stremme and Compton won't race tomorrow.
And David Stremme's one of the drivers that broke the old track record, but he's going to have to load up and go to the house.
Yeah, tough tough qualifying effort.
Yeah, Donnie Wingo, his crew chief, had that radio keyed, I think, before he even crossed the finish line.
Back it down. He doesn't even want him to have second thoughts.
You mentioned David Stremme. Stremme currently 38th quick of everyone that's been on the track. 38 people have broken the old track record here at Michigan. And again, the fastest speed we've seen, 203.241 by Marcus Ambrose. 2 bullets left that Marcus has to dodge if he wants to be the new track record holder and the fastest man in NASCAR.
Well, this car right here, Dale Jr., has been one of the fastest cars all weekend. Put up some big numbers every time they've gone on the track, both practice and testing. So we'll see where he ends up today.
So hard to believe. Tomorrow will be his 450th career Sprint Cup Series start.
Yeah, incredible.
Not good. Not good right there. The car got a little bit loose on him right there when he tried to make that. When the car rotated, the back end moved out just a little bit, hurt his speed.
We heard Carl Edwards say earlier, before he went out, and then obviously his problems, but he talked about how it would be so cool to say that in the past 25 years, you're the fastest that's ever run a qualifying lap. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is not going to have that bestowed upon him. He goes 16th quick at 35.943. So only one more driver remaining that Marcus Ambrose has to sweat over, and it is Mark Martin.
I can't tell you how many times this year we've been in this very position with Mark Martin being the last driver to go out.
The old heartbreaker right here, because he's done it a couple of times, knocked people that have sat on the pole all day long. Right at the end, Mark comes out. I'm not sure. We'll just have to see. The sun's out a little bit more than it has been. Pretty hot out there. Got a little bit of a headwind, or a little bit of a tailwind, headwind down the front here. We'll just have to see what he can do.
What we know he'll do a good job at is carrying that speed through the middle of the corner. That's what he does a great job week in and week out.
You heard him right there, Larry. He burped that throttle right back in it.
You know, here's a guy, Mark Martin. He's probably run a few races where he's qualified at over 200 miles an hour because he's run at Daytona and Talladega prior to the restrictor plates being added. So it might not be anything new, but at the same time, it will be big. And it doesn't look like it's going to happen. That tracker going way to the right.
He really bailed out and getting down in the corner. Let's see if it pays off getting off the corner. Sometimes you hear them get out of the throttle and you think, oh, they're not going anywhere. But sometimes the car takes a set and you can get to the throttle a lot quicker when you do that. This doesn't look good.
Got a lot of work to do through 3 and 4. I don't know if he's going to be able to get there. I mean, he's going to just have to fight to get to the top 10. Not sure he's going to accomplish that.
Car was nervous, man.
Mark Martin crosses the stripe. He is 14th quick. And what that means is Marcus Ambrose, the new track record holder and the fastest man in NASCAR. 203.241 miles an hour for Marcus Ambrose.
His teammate, Eric Almirola, he was on the pole at Charlotte, and here we are, Marcus, 2 weeks later.
Impressive runs, smiles on the Stanley guys' faces. Monumental day for NASCAR as we look at our Golden Corral starting grid. Marcus Ambrose and Kevin Harvick making up row number 1, but the biggest story, over 203 miles an hour for that qualifying run.
Yeah, and 203 is incredibly fast. I thought we might see something 205, but still 203 is great. But there are some guys going down the field here, Larry, that I know they got to be disappointed after their practice speeds. They couldn't back them up today.
I'd have to say Mark Martin is one of those, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. would be another. He's been fast all weekend long. Back to Marcus Ambrose. Oh, by the way, the latest entry for the showdown at Daytona in February. Or the shootout.
Brad Keselowski, who went out early, still scratching his head, trying to find some speed.
Jeff Gordon, I mean, I know he's got to be really disappointed with that lap.
The one good thing that these guys have going for them is they're going to get a practice on a different tire. So they're going to be able to figure out a little bit as far as if they can get something for race setup and handling.
Kyle Busch, he and Jeff Burton back there, that's got a lot of work to do. And there's Carl Edwards.
He's really glad there's a practice this afternoon. And he's probably going to come to mine or your motor coach later on.
Sorry, Carl.
David Stremme and Stacy Compton, the two that didn't make the field for tomorrow's race. But let's hear from the man who probably has the biggest smile of all. Marcus Ambrose is with Ralph.
Well, Marcus Ambrose just wrapping up some podium interviews down here because you now have your first career Sprint Cup pole. Congratulations. How does it feel to to get that in the books?
Well, the Stanley team for Rich Petty Motorsports is the fastest team in NASCAR. It's just a great feeling for me just to get to drive the car, to drive for the King. Lightning fast out there. Really, I didn't know if the time was going to hold up, but I knew I got everything I could out of that race car, and it's just a great feeling. You know, it's my first pole, and to get a record speed at the track here at Michigan, to get a record speed for NASCAR and the current generation cars, just a great day.
He'd won poles on road courses and in ovals and nationwide and in trucks, and now Marcos Ambrose is a pole winner in NASCAR Sprint Cup competition.
Yeah, Ralph. And he is the third fastest qualifying man ever in NASCAR. Bill Elliott, Cale Yarborough, Marcos Ambrose. That's his name to that list. Thanks for joining us here on Qualifying. We are going to send you back to more Le Mans coverage here on Speed.